Vanessa Tamblyn. She's the head of the creative department at the Sydney Opera House. Now think about this. The Sydney Opera House has probably got to be one of the biggest icons in the world, recognised absolutely everywhere. They've just gone through a huge rebranding, and Vanessa is the person who is the head of the entire creative department. Can you please give a huge welcome to Vanessa? Oh, that was a little amplified kiss there. That was awesome. Now, we decided that we're going to have a little quick beer and have a chat. It's going to be fairly quick, and we'll get you out to the break very soon. But cheers.
This is the teaser to the break. So.
Okay, so Vanessa, head of the creative department of one of the biggest icons in the world. How did you get the gig?
Well, I mean, I think it's a little unfashionable, I reckon, but the fact of the matter is I didn't really get the gig so much as I created the gig. Okay. So I carved it out. I think it was funny, when I graduated from UTS back in 2002, 2003, my lecturer at the time was saying, oh, you know, go to New York, you know, and that was the thing, and that was what she thought I should be. But I was kind of eyeballing the Opera House at the time because I'd been working there just as a student job. And I'd realised that it's this massive global icon, as you've said, but there was one graphic designer. And it's kind of like, righto, I think that's the game. And so my intention was just to get my foot in the door, which I did as a marketing assistant. And basically what I did was incrementally just reposition to the point where it's kind of, okay, I want to be the marketing and design assistant. Righto, look, I think my best use is junior designer. And then at a certain point, I had the opportunity to start expanding the team. And often, you know, I've been through 3 CEOs, and every time there's a change of guard, there's an opportunity to repitch. You know, you have to kind of prove yourself, then repitch. And so at this point, yeah, head of creative, and I've got a team of 7, so it's good. So the department's like heaps bigger now. So tell me, so what's under the hood there? What is the role? What are you actually doing there? What's under the hood? I mean, I think, you know, if we leave aside the fact that, you know, the Opera House, as you say, is you know, massive global symbol, and it means all kinds of things to all kinds of people, so that's on the hood. Under the hood, it's a huge business, you know, it's multifaceted, it's prismatic, it's, you know, there are, from a performing arts perspective, the Opera House puts on about 50% of what goes on under the sails. And so I have about 180 campaigns a year coming across my desk.
So, how many?
180.
How big's the team?
7. And that includes production.
How do you deal with 180 campaigns a year?
Well, man, you know, you've got to have a lot of sand. But I think really, for me, it kind of comes down to, there's all kinds of ways that, you know, you need to approach this kind of thing. But for me, I think the biggest thing, I was thinking about this in the sidebar. I think it actually comes down to being able to blur the edges, really. And when I say that, I mean, you know, we have a really complex internal kind of stakeholder matrices. We have, you know, I'm client side, so there's lots of stakeholder management in that way. We've got a really big marketing team, our mates in marketing. So there's a whole thing about being really open dialogue and really collaborative in the way that you approach that. But also creatively, yeah, a team of 7 cannot pull off 180 campaigns a year, neither should they. So what we do is we work with amazing collaborators. And that can be from, you know, smaller shops that are really in our inner circle, that are kind of almost like our expanded team. So if we have 7 campaigns come down the pipe at the same time, then, you know, we talk to that extended family. But there's also, you know, we work with illustrators, and we have a lot of artist collaborations as well, which I think is incredibly important. As well as big agencies for the game changers, and I'm sure they're out there.
So you've got all of these projects per year.
Yeah.
So what's the actual product of the Opera House? We were chatting about this the other day, and your answer was really interesting, because I hadn't thought.
Can't remember what it was, but I mean, I think one of the things that's unique about the Opera House is the base product is actually a creative product. It's a performing arts product. So that adds an entire dimension to the way in which you handle and promote, and where you can find, you know, where the dialogues are, where the discussions are, and the way that you promote that amazing work, because it is such a magnet for the artistic community. It's a massive global stage. So it's, yeah, but the base product itself is
I find that
creative.
really interesting. So most of those 100, if not all, of those 180 projects, the people you're dealing, the client is actually a creative in some medium, and you're doing the creative work for a creative.
That's right.
In the thing with the Opera House.
Yeah, so it is very multifaceted in that way and multi-layered.
So apart from all of the customers and projects, you've also just gone through a huge rebranding at the Opera House. Like that's pretty huge to rebrand a worldwide icon.
Yeah.
What was involved? Who was involved? And how did that go?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually had the opportunity to go through a couple of rebrands with the Opera House, and it's a huge piece of work, and it's a massive gauntlet to throw down. And I remember, when I started, it was the one designer, and it was kind of, it was kind of like the Wild West, man. Like it was like, every marketer and producer sort of went to their freelancer, and it was kind of just this crazy, mix. And then the first big game change was when Vince Frost was brought in about 2007, 2008. And that was the first attempt to bring a kind of a collective footprint to the bigness and the diversity of the Opera House, and it was just awesome. And now here we are, and I think we've just worked with Interbrand over the last 2 years to develop this rebrand. And it was 2 years in the making. It was incredibly rigorous. It was incredibly consultative. And once again, it was kind of looking for where is the thread, where are the crosshairs, how can you kind of balance the diversity of what this platform is.
You were saying part of your role was like holding a lot of that together, holding all those strings and the ends of the strings.
But it's a very dynamic balance, and so I think my role, to answer your question, is really being part of that steering team from the pitch right through, and to work with the creative directors in Tamblyn, Mr. Chris McLean, who's amazing to work with, and make sure that what we're doing actually has, the longevity and the flexibility to do justice to what the Opera House is, which is just a huge,
one last really quick
business.
question for you. So what's the future hold for you in the Opera House? I mean, that's a big question, but a little answer.
Yeah, hello. I don't know. I mean, I think one of the things is we're having all these conversations lately, man, about content and being content-led, and that's a huge football, and I don't want to get into that. But one of the things that's actually quite close to my heart is that whole idea about the Opera House being a platform, and not just for the performing arts, but actually for the creative community at large, and bringing more of those voices into play, is something that I'm particularly passionate about. And if I, as head of creative, can continue to be a supporter and a proponent of that, then I think that's banging.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, can you thank Vanessa for coming in and having a chat with us?